At the funeral, only 50 to 60 people were present. After the prayer was completed, the cleric led the supplication, and the attendees began looking around to find the family members to offer condolences. The deceased had only one son who was in London. He could not reach Pakistan in time, so there was no one present with whom condolences could be shared. After waiting for a few moments, people slowly began to leave because of the heat. When it was time for the burial, only 6 people were left in the cemetery. Among them was Abdullah Hussain Tara, the closest friend of the deceased. Another was his publisher, who had been printing his books for the last 2 decades, and the remaining 4 were household servants who wished to stay with him until the very end. The body was carried, placed in the grave, covered with soil, and a fresh green branch was placed on the mound. The gravedigger sprinkled water over the grave and raised his hands for prayer. Those present dusted off their hands and joined in the prayer. In this way, the life journey of the country's greatest novelist came to an end. This story was buried on July 4, 2015, in the Dha Lahore Cemetery. That person was Abdullah Hussain. Abdullah Hussain was the only internationally recognized novelist that Pakistan produced in 68 years. He was born on August 14, 1931, in Rawalpindi. His real name was Muhammad Khan. At the age of 16, he witnessed the partition of India. The horrifying face of humanity that emerged at the time of Pakistan's creation destroyed his trust in religion, morality, and humanity, and he became a rebel against both. The events of partition left deep scars on his mind. In 1952, while working as an engineer in the Daudkal cement factory, he picked up the pen and wrote Udas Nazlain, The Weary Generations, a masterpiece of Urdu literature. This was not just a novel, it was the lament of generations raised during the partition of India, generations forced to live carrying the cross of sadness on their shoulders. The novel caused a sensation both in Pakistan and across the border in India. Udas Nazlain remains the most brilliant Urdu novel to this day. He wrote it at the age of 32, and at 34, the President of Pakistan Ayub Khan awarded him the Adamji Literary Award, the highest honor for literature. Later, he moved to Britain and lived there for 40 years. During this time, he wrote 2 more novels, 2 novelettes, and dozens of short stories. He also wrote 1 novel in English. Each of these works was considered a masterpiece. He suffered from blood cancer and continued to fight the illness until he passed away in Lahore on July 4, 2015, at the age of 84. His relationship with his wife had been strained, so she remained in Britain. His son lived in London and could not attend the funeral. It was Ata-ul-Haq Kazmi who informed friends about his death. Thus, only 50 to 60 people attended the last rites of the country's greatest writer. This tragedy was even greater than the tragedy of Abdullah Hussain's death itself. There are 2 lessons to be learned from this tragedy, one for individuals and one for the state. We are unfortunate people. In pursuit of work, fame, and wealth, we always put family behind. We keep building careers and collecting fame, but this constant struggle melts away the wax of family bonds until, in the twilight of life, only the melted remains of memories are left. I know countless people who could not enjoy their children's childhood because they were too busy saving for their future. When the children grew up, they spent their entire savings sending them abroad for higher education. But those children never returned, and in the end, it was servants who offered the funeral prayer and buried them. I have also seen people who spent their entire lives chasing fame, only to die with no relatives, no friends, and not even those admirers who once kissed their hands and begged for autographs. I have seen people who, for peace, justice, prosperity, and a better life, moved their families abroad but returned alone. When they passed away, their families could not come back, even on leave, or get a flight in time. And I have seen people who were arrogance personified in life, who spent their days enjoying power and fame, yet after their deaths, no one visited their graves for 10 years. The lesson is clear: never let your children and family become so distant in the name of education, career, fame, power, or security that they cannot even attend your funeral and that your grave longs for their footsteps for years. This reveals the causes of our intellectual decline and the reasons for the intellectual rise of the Western world.